being victimized by our own government. One man whom they fear, yet who millions love. One man who is willing to take the poison arrows of lawfare. One man whose voice has been taken away by a corrupt judge operating in a corrupt system. One man who has been ridiculed and insulted. One man who refused to back down. One man who refused to back down. One man who refused to back down. One man who stands between us and them. One man that wants to see America protected again. One man who wants to see America prosper again. One man who understands that a man is a man and a woman is a woman. One man who understands and protects the blessing of life. One man who wants to restore American exceptionalism. One man who once again wants to make America that shining city on a hill for all to see. A place where all the people of the world glowingly set their eyes upon. America. One man who unashamedly wants to make America great again. That one man is Donald Trump.
This is Fanfare with Barry Cunningham.
We're leaving and going to Rome, where we'll be attending the funeral of Pope Francis. Some of you are going to go. Anybody going? And it's going to be very interesting. We're going to meet with a lot of the foreign leaders they want to meet. Trade deals are going very well. I think Russia and Ukraine, I think they're coming along, we hope. It's very fragile. And Iran, I think, is going very well. We'll see what happens. We're working on plenty of things that shouldn't be worked on because none of this stuff should have happened. This should have been taken place by Biden. It should have been fixed by Biden, but he couldn't do it, nor could he come close to doing. So anyway, we're going to Rome to pay our respects, and we'll be leaving that same day. We'll be coming back home tomorrow night. And I'll see some of you over there. Otherwise, I'll see you on television.
That was so cute. It was so cute that he put his arm around her and he walked her out to the helicopter. I just thought that was special. You know, at his age and how long they've been married, it's nice to see that. You know, when you go out and you're in a restaurant or someplace and you see an older couple and they're still holding hands and got his arm around her, it makes you feel good. That's why I always make sure when I'm out with Robin, I do that. Let people know, yes, we've been married for 32 years and we're still going strong. Well, today, I thought, whoa, I'm getting blinkage. Lights going off. One of my lights just blew. I thought today would be a nice, easy Friday afternoon. Not much going on. It would be a very simple day. And then all hell broke loose. And it's really interesting because one of the things I want to show you, where is this? I had posted a few days back, and some people were wondering what I was talking about. And when I posted it, I said, what if the priority that everybody else has wasn't what President Trump had? And I told you, I went back and I walked you through the entire process of the Andrew Jackson type thing. If you've been watching the last couple of days, I didn't know this was going to be prophetic. And it has since turned prophetic. And I just watched, and we kept seeing what was happening. I'm trying to find that post because I wasn't just prepared to just put it up. But it was just very interesting. I think right now you guys are thinking is the same thing. What if everybody's been looking for the wrong thing? Everybody's over here looking for the Epstein files or the Diddy files or this, and this. And I actually posted. I think I posted it to Kyle Seraphin. What if the priorities that everybody thought were the priorities weren't the priorities whatsoever? And now, again, and I told you many a times here, some people think I'm absolutely nuts, and that's okay. I'm nuts. But I've told you, he's laid out the breadcrumbs ever since he took office. And too many people weren't paying attention. We've all seen where they've posted the Kash Patel videos about dismantling the FBI, and Dan Bongino saying, you got to go in there and root them out day one, and Pam Bondi saying, I'm going to do this, I got stacks on my table. But nobody heard what President Trump's priorities were. You see, he basically hired these people. Dan, come on. Kash, you too, and Pam here. And they all, before they got in, had made videos and talked about what they would do if they ever got the chance. Well, they got brought into the office and said, I got something else for you. Here's what we're going to do. This, I'm speaking as if I'm President Trump, this is what we have gamed out, and this is the priority and the role we're going to take and how I want to roll these things out. Because I feel if I roll these things out and this happens and this happens, the other stuff, it'll eventually fall. It'll be a domino, but the other stuff doesn't change the country. And then when you start looking at it that perspective, yeah, it would be nice to see the Epstein list, who is out there doing all this stuff. It doesn't change the country. Yeah, we'll get to them. They're not going anywhere unless they decide to jump out of windows. They're still there. They know who they are, which has got to be awful right now because they got to be thinking, oh, he's just making us sweat. You all be there. But as a president who knows I only have 24 months before the midterms, and I've got to change the way this country is run. I've got to change your lives. I've got to make sure that America is great again. I need to attack those things that are keeping America from being great. Yes, we all feel heartfelt about the kids that are missing. We all want to see justice done for anybody who's hurt children and women and little boys. But none of that changes the country. So as I began digging, and you guys have seen I've been doing some research, I realized, and I began to tell you guys a couple days ago, everybody who watched my shows, as I'm digging here, I'm seeing breadcrumbs. And I'm seeing the breadcrumbs that he's laying out, and I'm also seeing the reaction from the Democrats to his breadcrumbs. And we've talked about comms. Comms is one of the things we all heard when we were watching the Q activities. And we're like, comms. And sometimes what's said in public, what's said in a press conference, isn't meant for us. It's saying something to those people over there. This is where we're going. This is what's going to happen. I played Stephen Miller for you yesterday. Robin just got home. I played Tom Homan. And they've been very, very definitive in terms of we're not stopping. We are going to continue going. And I told you about the Federal Judiciary Center. I showed you the article where it says they can't stop him. The judiciary has zero enforcement. There's nothing you can do if the people who you tell to enforce something decide, no, we've got something else in mind. Thanks for trying. And so this morning, we all woke up. Actually, it began like a day or so ago. And we're starting to see things happen. And we're starting to see things that are unsettling for many of the Democrats. So let's talk a little bit about these priorities. Listen to this.
There are laws on the books that make it a criminal offense to shield or harbor illegal immigrants, like the sanctuary states that units have been doing. Do you think they should be prosecuted with both federal and possibly put in prison?
Absolutely. And hold tight on that one. Because it's coming. It's coming. I've been clear on that since day one. And hold tight on that one. Because it's coming. And hold tight on that one. Because it's coming. And hold tight on that one. Because it's coming.
A few months.
Does he seem like a guy that's bluffing? Does he seem like a guy that you'd be playing poker with and went, nah, I don't understand what he's saying? And so, this happened. As I said here, a few moments later.
U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement have arrested a former New Mexico judge and his wife. This after federal law enforcement learned their tenant, an alleged Tren de Aragua gang member, was arrested at his home. Now we're also learning other Venezuelan nationals were arrested and are in HSI custody. An ICE spokeswoman says the former judge, Joel Cano, and his wife, Nancy Cano, was taken into custody earlier today as part of an ongoing HSI-led criminal investigation. Now this was at a home on North Raymond Street in Las Cruces, New Mexico. As KTSM has reported, former Doña Ana County Magistrate Judge Joel Cano rented out his, quote, casita, or a small home behind their own home, to Christian Ortega Lopez. They met when his wife hired Ortega Lopez to install glass. The district attorney's office says Ortega Lopez was seen with multiple firearms in pictures that were posted on social media. The feds seized those firearms and arrested Ortega Lopez in February. He allegedly admitted to entering the country illegally in 2023. This is a look at the...
Okay, let's stop there for a second as we begin looking at this chronology. The TDA guy was arrested in February. Checking my calendar, it is now April. So what do you think has happened from the time that they arrested this guy in February, got him into custody, in the last couple months? You know, everyone's been waiting for Epstein, and then this kind of stuff is happening behind the scenes, and we don't know anything about it. And I found my tweet, and here was my tweet, and it was in response to what Kyle Seraphin was talking about in terms of going after Dan Bongino. And I said, and I addressed he and Steve Friend, is it possible, at all possible? I want you guys, I'm not debating, I just want to ask you a question. Is it at all possible, as I have no internal FBI experience, is it possible that President Trump has for some reason set the priority elsewhere? Illegals, money laundering, domestic espionage. I can't believe Bondi Patel and Bongino all simultaneously laid down. Would love to hear an opinion from you guys, as it's most definitely bewildering. And people had a whole bunch of responses, and even Kyle said, nope, happy to join you and tell you how this gets fixed, and sounds like it won't be. And Ashley is talking with Kyle to get him and Steve on. But my question, which I would ask him live, is, well, and now we see it is actually played out. Is it at all possible that what everybody thinks is going to happen, that he's got a different game plan altogether? And that's what's, you can tell, this was back on the 23rd, way 3 days ago. And I started seeing things happen, and I was starting reading. And I'm going to share with you what I read. And I'm going to share with you the research I did so that you can begin sitting back on, ooh, Barry might have something here that nobody's talking about. Nobody. And I've looked. I'm like, hey, y'all looking at this? Are you guys following along? Yeah, Crazy Barry down there in Boca. Yes, Boomer Dude is sitting here saying some crazy stuff about Andrew Jackson. And he's crazy stuff about this and that. Well, today I'm going to show you even more crazy stuff. So the rest of you guys are going to go, oh my goodness, what is this man thinking? But I just want you to hear what that guy just said. February 23rd, he got arrested. What do you think they've been doing since February 23rd? Looking at the Epstein files? Or drilling this guy for information? Asking this guy, your life is doomed. We're going to put you down in Socotra. You're going to be down there with El Salvador. Our boy Naib is ready for you. But we talk and we kind of make your life easier. Start talking. You know that's what happens. Somebody's got to flip. I got to flip. Okay, I need some info. Give me something and we'll give you a cushy sell. Maybe we'll send you to Gitmo down by the beach so you don't got to go to El Salvador and get your head shaved. February. I want you to hear that. February, this guy got arrested. All right, let's continue.
So where agents actually made the arrest, you can see agent vehicles parked all around the neighborhood. Both the former judge and his wife are being charged with tampering with evidence and are now expected in court tomorrow.
So I want to ask you, and I realistically want to ask you, do you think these guys acted alone? Do you think that they were the only judges in the country that figured out there was a way that they could do something to hurt Trump, hurt America, and, basically harbor these guys and do whatever they needed to do?
Democrat judge.
Do you think that maybe President Trump and Tom Homan and Kristi Noem and other people found out something in regards to, I don't know, these judges all over the country being dirty as hell? And this is just the tip of the iceberg that they're going through. Now we're start talking some serious Robert Ludlum type stuff. I mean, we're talking, oh man, this is some clandestine stuff that's happening. Okay, and it's all being triggered by the people they arrested previously. Give somebody up for your benefit. So now they're getting a judge. That's the first judge, Cano. He was in Las Cruces, New Mexico. What do you think they're doing with the judge? I'm pretty sure judges don't like jail. I'm pretty sure judges don't want to be in a hardcore penitentiary where other people that they've put away or something might be there. So what do you think the next step that the Trump administration or the DOJ or whatever did with this judge they just arrested? You don't have to be a fan of Matlock or, FBI, any of these shows to know what happened next. If Kyle Seraphin was sitting next to me, who I really like that guy, I would ask him, so when you arrest a bad guy, what do you do? Oh, first thing you probably do is start asking questions. So we're going to be here for a while. Mr. Cano, Judge, Your Honor, you're less honorable. We got some questions. And some of those questions are like, is there a network going on here? What's going on? Who else is involved? You might as well tell us. I know you're not going to want to go to jail, and I know you don't want your little wife to be in jail forever. So come on, give us up somebody else. Don't you think those kind of conversations have been happening?
In New Mexico has resigned after he reportedly housed a suspected Tren de Aragua gang member on his property. Griff Jenkins with us this morning. Griff, how did this happen?
I don't have any idea, Stu. You can't make this up.
You can't make this up. When you get to the point where the people on television, even though this is Fox, you're like, what? This judge rented out his apartment, his casita? He rented out an apartment on his property to a gang member? Oh, and you ain't heard the half of it. You haven't heard half of it. Fox didn't know this when they played this. There is so much more to what Judge Cano and his little TDA friend did. Just like there was more to know about Garcia. Let's continue.
What did this judge know or not know? Was he not aware? Look, this all began in late February, okay? Homeland Security investigation agents raided Judge Joel Cano's New Mexico property and arrested this alleged Tren de Aragua gang member named Christian Ortega Lopez for being illegally in the country and in possession of firearms. Now, days later, Judge Cano resigned without explanation, and according to court documents, Ortega Lopez had been doing odd jobs for Cano's wife before being offered lodging in the couple's casita on the back of the property following his eviction from an El Paso apartment. And it says this: the defendant was introduced to Nancy Cano's daughter, April Cano, who possessed a large number of firearms. The defendant advised that April Cano allowed him to hold and sometimes shoot various firearms. It also alleges in the documents Ortega Lopez admitted he knew it was illegal for him to possess firearms.
Okay, so wait a second. So now, like I said, there's more here. There's even more than this. So a judge decides he's going to rent out a casita to a TDA guy who's got, quote, a large amount of firearms. What kind of confidence do you have to knowingly rent out an apartment on your property to a gang member who you know has a large amount of firearms? This wasn't just some, hey, can I rent a place? I got evicted. Can you help me out here? You had to have known when you saw the guys coming and the hats were on sideways and they had the teardrops and everything else. Oh, yeah, what's up, Holmes? Hey, Holmes. What's up, Holmes? Judge Holmes. They had to have seen it coming. And on top of that, Judge Cano, who has a wife, would not have, I would hope to God he wouldn't, have put his sweet wife in any danger. Hey, honey, I just saw these guys walking around back with guns. Don't worry about it. Shut up. No, that didn't happen. This was part of the plan. There's no way these people didn't know what they were doing back there. There's no way that they probably, as they continued to investigate, weren't in on it in some way. Hey, I had the key to your freedom. Well, I got the key to your life. All right, so let's cut a deal here. You stay back there, give me so much money, because they did say rent. So you rented this thing out. How did you get paid? When did you get paid? Did you declare it? Oh, man, just think where the questions are. I'm not even an FBI agent, and I'm just asking these questions. Where did you deposit it? Where did he get it? And each one of these questions is going to lead to another big blow up of, oh, hey, what else is in here? Oh, we got deposits. Oh, we have wire transfers. And they just keep digging and getting in there. Think like a Fed at this point. I'm going to ask questions, and I got you. I already got you. There's no way around it. I have you. Now let's see what we can do to work things out here, because we want the bigger fish. Who coordinated all this? Because I'm already past the fact that this wasn't a single judge. I was past that fact before we got to today. I hope you were past that. Hey, look, as soon as you heard this, like, wait a second. A judge? Not some guy who owns a warehouse. A judge has the back door open to TDA? Okay.
Associated with other TDA gang members and had tattoos associated with TDA, and worried about telling the judge's wife about an AK-47 tattoo, which is a known TDA identifier. Now, shortly after Judge Cano's resignation, the State Judicial Standards Commission petitioned the New Mexico Supreme Court to suspend him for harboring a TDA gang member, who in turn barred Cano for life from holding or running for any judicial office. However, no indication Cano is currently under investigation by the authorities.
Now, I cannot believe Fox said that. This was before the arrest came. They're like, it doesn't seem to... They actually reported that. It doesn't seem like we haven't been able to find out whether he's under any investigation. Huh? Did the bracelets not indicate to you that something was going to happen? Oh, that's right. This was before he got the bracelets. The fact that he was disbarred and that they found the TDA guy, none of that stuff?
To learn, by the way, Ortega Lopez illegally entered the country in Eagle Pass, Texas in December of 2023, Stu, but was released with a notice to appear. Stu?
Got it. Griff, thank you.
Oh, December of 2023. Oh, yeah, that was Joe Biden. With a notice to appear. Yeah, you come back sometime. You see what's going on here? So listen some more. Now, this is going to be the people in Las Cruces, New Mexico.
Much indeed.
Asking whether a Milwaukee County judge obstructed justice by shielding a man from an ICE
I'm sorry, this is the Wisconsin one that happened today.
Arrest at the Milwaukee County Courthouse. The incident happened Friday in misdemeanor court and could make the judge a target of a federal investigation. Nick Bohr tonight with that story.
Judge Hannah Dugan has been on the Milwaukee County bench for 9 years, but is herself under scrutiny after an incident involving a man wanted by immigration agents outside her courtroom Friday. According to a law enforcement source, ICE agents were waiting outside Dugan's courtroom for a man making a court appearance there, but Dugan is alleged to have shielded him to avoid his ICE detention. In an email to other judges shared with 12 News, Chief Judge Carl Ashley confirmed the presence of ICE agents Friday, explaining they had a warrant and were asked to wait outside the courtroom. However, Ashley said he, quote, had no information to provide as to what occurred inside Judge Dugan's courtroom.
I spoke with Judge Dugan outside of her courtroom here this afternoon. She told me that she didn't wish to comment at this time, but there is a sign taped to her courtroom door that predates the Friday incident, but seems to reference some of the same issues.
The sign urges any person who, quote, feels unsafe coming to the courthouse to contact Judge Dugan's clerk to request a remote hearing via Zoom. It's dated 4 days before the Friday incident. An ICE spokesperson told 12 News Tuesday morning they would not confirm the incident. They also wouldn't say whether the man in question was ultimately detained by ICE.
Have taken the extraordinary step to arrest.
Okay, so now she gets arrested. So now we've got two judges in 24 hours who basically got introduced to ICE. Like Tom Homan said, we're coming for you. It's coming. And so I wanted, before we let this woman from MSNBC talk, I wanted to show you on the bottom there to pay attention to what I wrote there. Because what I wrote there says, ever since January 20th, day one of this administration, President Trump has told you. He told all of us. Some of us didn't listen. Some of us had our own preconceptions. Some of us said, this is more important to me. I want to see Diddy. I want to see Epstein. But President Trump, and I'm going to prove it to you, he told everybody where his priority was. He told you what he was going to do. You and me, at that point, really didn't pay any attention. The Democrats did. Certain Democrats, even though some of the lower level ones may not have realized what was happening, the upper level ones did, which has been why they've been screaming so loudly over the last couple months. Now, now that two judges have been arrested, the media is like, oh my gosh, this is the worst thing ever.
A judge allegedly obstructing an immigration arrest. Let's get right to NBC's Gary Grumbach, who has been trying to work on getting this reporting for us. What do we know?
So what we know right now is that over the past several days and weeks, we've seen videos of people being arrested at courthouses by Department of Homeland Security officials when they show up for hearings to adjudicate their immigration status. And that is something we've seen over and over again over the past several weeks. Now, veteran circuit court judge up in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, her name is Hannah Dugan. She's now being accused of trying to help out an undocumented immigrant avoid arrest. And I want to read to you FBI Director Kash Patel's tweet. He says in part, quote, just now, the FBI arrested Judge Hannah Dugan out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin on charges of obstruction after evidence of Judge Dugan obstructing an immigration arrest operation last week. He says, going on, saying, we believe Judge Dugan intentionally misdirected federal agents away from the subject to be arrested in her courthouse, Eduardo Flores Ruiz, allowing the subject, who they call an illegal alien, to evade arrest. Now, they say that this individual was eventually arrested by DHS officials. This is something that is just developing, Anna, and we have not yet seen any court documents in this case, but we are awaiting further news on this topic.
Again, I know how fresh this is, Gary, but do we know how unusual is a situation like this for feds to arrest a judge?
I have an answer for the libs, and my answer will be ongoing for a couple of these videos today. And my answer is, you arrested a president. You're talking about how unusual is it to arrest a judge, and oh my gosh, what happens if we arrest a judge? You arrested a president. You raided his house with armed FBI agents over paper. You tried to take his property away. You got him shot almost twice. And you're expecting, or actually you're trying to get your audience to believe, this is awful, they're arresting judges. Unfortunately for the media, it's too soon. It was only July 13th when we saw that happen. We all saw the trial in New York. We've seen it all. We saw Robert De Niro. We saw everybody screaming, lock him up. And you arrested a president. To this day, he's still under some sort of order from Judge Merchan. And they're acting like, oh my gosh, this is the worst thing ever. President Trump is arresting judges. Have we ever been down this road before? Yes. Would you like me to do some of your own telecast and show them to you? We arrested a president. We kicked in the doors to his house with armed men, both in the water and on the ground. He had helicopters spinning, all kinds of crazy stuff. I guess your audience forgot that.
Well, this is incredibly unusual. This is certainly not something we saw during the Biden administration, not even something we saw during the first Trump administration. But with the increase of importance of immigration as a priority to the Trump administration this time, this is what we have started to see. This is the very first time we've ever seen a judge arrested like this. But seeing these on-camera videos of arrests at courthouses of immigrants that are there to adjudicate their immigration status is certainly new here.
Dr. Kash Patel says a U.S. judge has been arrested for obstructing an immigration operation. Let's go live right now to our senior crime and justice correspondent, Caitlin Polans. It's pretty dramatic. What are you learning, Caitlin?
Truly, Wolf, this is something that we have certainly not seen before, but appears to be part of this aggressive.
I've never seen anything like this before. Presidents don't count. That's just some guy in Mar-a-Lago got arrested. It was just him. Don't worry about it. This is a judge. That's much bigger, much bigger.
Approach the Trump administration has toward immigration. What the FBI Director Kash Patel announced in a social media post just a few minutes ago this morning is that just now the FBI arrested Judge Hannah Dugan out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin on charges of obstruction after evidence of Judge Dugan obstructing an immigration arrest operation last week. We believe Judge Dugan intentionally misdirected federal agents away from the subject to be arrested in her courthouse. Eduardo Flores Ruiz is the name that the FBI director puts out there about that subject, allowing the subject to evade arrest. Thankfully, our agents chased down the perp on foot.
Notice what she skipped over. I wanted to show you. There's people like, Barry, why are you showing it twice? Wanted you to see what she skipped over. She read it. She said, Eduardo Flores Ruiz allowing the subject to evade arrest. There's a couple words there, lady. There's a couple words there that you couldn't even stomach to read. You read the entire tweet. You're going to continue reading the tweet when I push play. But when you got to the hyphens, for you, that meant jump over. Don't. I can't utter those words. I can't. She just read everything. Eduardo Flores Ruiz allowing the subject to evade arrest. Yeah, there's something there. Somehow with your glasses, you didn't see those 3 words. Completely wouldn't even speak them. It's sacrilege to the left. That's what this is all about. These people embrace them. They are not anything to be put in jail. They are the Democrat fuel. And she couldn't even say the words. I don't know if you guys noticed that. That's why I have to stop sometimes. Like, did you hear that? Oh yeah, allowing the subject to evade arrest. Well, you missed something, and she'll finish reading the rest of it.
And he's been in custody since, but the judge's obstruction created increased danger to the public. So that's the FBI director laying out this apparent story and the developments this morning, Wolf, of what is happening with this arrest. We have reached out to the Milwaukee County Circuit Court, which is where the judge sits, Judge Hannah Dugan. They have not responded yet, and there isn't any publicly available information in the court record about this, but it would.
Remember that. There's nothing there. There's no information. They can't find any information. They've gone through LexisNexis and Pacer, the databases. There's nothing here. Why would there be nothing there? That's going to give you something interesting to follow as this stuff moves forward. Why are there no documents available for the media to see? I'm going to tell you why.
Be a startling development if this judge was arrested as she was working on the bench as a judge handling an immigration case or a case of a person that ICE was also interested in. The judge, Hannah Dugan, a local judge, Milwaukee County Court, she was arrested on courthouse grounds where she works at about 8:30 this morning, taken into custody, appearing before the federal court about these charges, helping an immigrant from Mexico try to escape.
Immigrant? You sure about that? Trying to help. See, you're not helping this woman's case. Understand, the media, you're making it worse. Your obvious ignorance of what's going on and your obvious attempt to gaslight and run the PSYOP even while it's being destroyed in front of you. The immigrant... No, you kind of left out a couple words again. It's not working anymore. There's too many people truly awake, not woke, awake, who are listening to you and go, hey, stop right there. It wasn't just some immigrant. It wasn't somebody who came through Ellis Island, was taking classes, wasn't looking to, pledge allegiance to the flag. Come on. How much of a numbskull do you have to be to buy this crap? It's crazy.
Federal immigration authorities. The story of how that happened, it all took place on April 18th. That man, a man named Eduardo Flores Ruiz, he was in her court for a domestic violence charge, according to the court records. And at the hearing, the immigration authorities from the federal government were waiting to apprehend him for these immigration removal proceedings. But Judge Dugan, according to the court record against her, became visibly angry, commented that the situation was absurd, left the bench, entered chambers, and then escorted later Flores Ruiz through a jury door so that he would avoid his arrest by federal immigration authorities. That is according to the Justice Department in federal court.
All right, so she said something there. I've seen some of your comments in here. I mute when they talk. That's why you're probably in the situation you are. You're not paying attention. You're not paying attention. If you mute when I bring you some of this stuff, I can understand if you mute it, if they say it and no one's explaining it to you, but if you mute when I'm trying to explain it to you, you're missing everything. What she just said is just another thing that you have to listen to and understand. What did she say? This incident with Mr. Ruiz, when they tried to, do the Underground Railroad and get him out of the courthouse. If you go back to the tweet or post, Kash Patel said, we have him. And it happened on April 18th. So what do you think they've been doing with young Mr. Ruiz for the last 7 days. Breadcrumbs. She just tells you breadcrumbs. They blow right through them. They don't try to explain it to you. So Mr. Ruiz was taken into custody, and you don't think he's been doing his best imitation of Frank Sinatra, singing like a bird? All right, we got you. And again, let me just show you this video of what these people do down in El Salvador. So, we know this judge tried to escape you out of here. Do you know any of your other buddies that she's done this with? Do you know how many other of them that, they scooted out the back door? What do you know, Mr. Ruiz? When I leave here, these guys are going to take you to El Salvador. So you might as well tell me now, and maybe we can satisfy and keep you in Gitmo. Just between us. We're not going to file any papers. Your other boys ain't going to come get you. But has this happened before? Remember, it's been a week. Do you think he's just been sitting there listening to music and eating tortillas? Or do you think that they've been investigating, or rather interrogating this guy till he's blue in the face? Hey, wake up. You're not going to sleep yet. I'm so tired. Who else? The judge did it. She put the whole thing together. Okay, take him to wherever we're taking him, and now we got to start going after her. And it's going to continue. She's going to get the Judge Cano treatment. Cano. Now, what's her name? Dugan. Excuse me. Hey, Miss Dugan. Judge, Your Honor Dugan. Not Honorable Judge Dugan. What you going to say? I want to talk to my attorney. Okay, we'll call your attorney. Understand, if you don't do what we need to do, yeah, you might get to go to El Salvador. Or just a nice vacation. Breadcrumbs. You got to listen to what these people say, because they're digging in a little bit, and then they're not filling it in.
Flores Ruiz has also been apprehended. He appeared in court yesterday for trying for the re-entry proceeding.
In Wisconsin, was arrested this morning at the very courthouse where she works. Joining us now is NBC's Tom Winter. Back with us is Temadayo Oganga-Williams. So, Tom, what exactly happened here?
Right, so the details are still coming in, but the reporting comes from our colleague Mike Cosner at our Washington, D.C. bureau. He's reporting that Judge Hannah Duggan, who she's a Milwaukee County Circuit judge, was arrested this morning, quote, for allegedly assisting an undocumented immigrant in avoiding arrest after he appeared in her courtroom last week. Apparently, and by the way, we found out about all of this because the FBI director, Kash Patel, issued a...
Here's one of the things they're going to have a problem with. They can't even read the actual indictment or arrest warrant because they're going to have to fudge it because they can't say the words. I am 100% sure the words undocumented immigrant aren't in any of the paperwork. In fact, they weren't even, as you saw, in Kash Patel's post on X. And illegal, you know what? So at some point, these people here and other platforms are going to have to realize you're going to have to let the doors fly open. You can't keep censoring people when it's in legal documentation. And so you're not helping your case. No, the dude's not an undocumented immigrant. Not at all. He's a gangbanger.
Tweet that has since been deleted. We're not sure why it was deleted, announcing this arrest and announcing these charges. And he said, quote, "We believe Judge Duggan intentionally misdirected federal agents away from the subject to be arrested in her courthouse, Eduardo Flores Ruiz, allowing the subject, an illegal alien," his words.
He had to qualify. I didn't say it. It wasn't me. His words. All of them are his words, you moron. Everything you're reading are his words. But that part, no, that's good. His words. Can't believe he called him that. That's his words. Yet everything you're reading right now is his words. They can't say it. It's like sacrilege to them.
to evade arrest, end quote. So we're still trying to get some of the details as to what this individual was specifically brought into court for, what charges they were specifically facing, and some of the details of this arrest. I checked, just as you were talking to our colleague Chris Jansing there in Rome, the docket in Wisconsin. The federal charging documents have not yet been unsealed in this particular case. That's not particularly unusual when an arrest happens, and sometimes it takes a while for that paperwork. And remember, there's a time difference as well.
Something else. And you can look for this throughout the day. So it's 3:45 right now. This was this morning. So let's see if these documents, quote, get unsealed. Because if they're sealed, that's going to give you another indication. That further indication, and if Maximus is here, he can add to it. That's going to tell you there's stuff in there they don't want anybody to see, which means more coming. And if this was the last one, hey, unseal it. Here you go. Here's what happened. But if it's not, if it's sealed where nobody else can see it, I'd be pooping my pants if I was involved in any of this stuff.
Appear on the record. So again, still trying to get some details, but again, the arrest was apparently made at 9:30 Eastern time this morning. This follows, by the way, Jose, some similar types of incidents throughout the country where judges have been involved in some of these ICE cases. Just yesterday, the Suffolk County District Attorney in Boston, a democratically elected district attorney, issued a report actually chastising the judge that was involved in an immigration case there, saying the judge acted improperly after the judge accused ICE and prosecutors there of basically colluding together to get somebody who was about to face trial. A jury had just been...
So they're squealing on a judge up in Massachusetts now. If you're that judge in Suffolk and you're in Massachusetts and you just heard MSNBC, oh yeah, man, you did it too. They're coming for you. You just told them that he was basically scolded by a district attorney who said, you can't do this, Your Honor. You can't shield these people. And they just blew it on him, said, hey, man, run. You next, bro. They just come out on television and said that.
Handled to be removed by ICE. The district attorney's office did an investigation into that and actually rebuked what the judge said. So there's definitely some pushback in law enforcement circles. And one of the things that the Suffolk County district attorney pointed to there, which may or may not be relevant in the Milwaukee case, in this judge that was just arrested and the judge that we've been speaking about, is this idea of the supremacy clause. Basically, ICE has the authority, because they're a federal agency, to conduct these arrests, whether or not it's in a local courtroom or not. And there have been different steps and different things have been done over the years with respect to some of these arrests. And there's been a number of cases that have gone through this even all prior to this current Trump administration. So it's definitely an issue that I think everybody thought would reach a particular point. It appears that it has this morning in the case of this Milwaukee judge.
Level judge in Wisconsin. The FBI just arrested a Wisconsin judge accusing her of shielding an immigrant from federal officials. When you
This is a good one. These people are panicking with a capital P. You got to hear this.
You're doing stuff like that. It makes people say, not enough people, mind you, but more people all the time say, that's not what I had in mind when Trump was talking about immigration. And these, by the way, are the same people who, when they talk about tariffs, are saying, I voted for Trump because he said he was going to lower prices. Why?
Courthouse.
So you didn't vote for this. I don't see how these people get on television and tell you what we didn't vote for. You don't know me. This is specifically what we voted for. This is what he said on the campaign trail. We're going to get him out. And like, this is what we voted for. He's arresting judges. Oh my. Well, maybe the judges shouldn't have gotten involved. You see, maybe he didn't mention he was going to arrest judges because at the time he was talking about removing the illegals, we didn't know that the judges had entrenched themselves so much that they were partners with these people. Because if we knew that these people were harboring and doing the things that they were doing, we would have doggone right said arrest the judges.
Right. And I mean, to everyone's point, essentially almost every month, if not every other week, Tom Homan, the border czar, has said, we are looking into how we can prosecute and how we can go after not just judges who they think are hindering their agenda, but also political officials and any kind of leader, U.S. attorneys, any kind of leader that they say is working in a sanctuary city who may be hindering their ability to deport people. So he's made that clear as recently as even last week, saying it over and over again, that he's talking to Pam Bondi, that he's talking to Kash Patel about this. And so that's something that I think, yes, this appears to be the first one that they've done so far in this administration, but that we can see more and more of as it goes on.
Did you see their faces? Oh gosh, more? Yeah, more. And notice, it's Friday, so I want you guys to pay attention. Over the next couple of days, see if anyone can tell you where these people are. I know the judge you're about to see, she got released on her own recognizance. That's okay. You ain't going anywhere, honey. They're watching you. By this time, they've already got you surveilled. They got your phone. They got everything. You might as well have stayed in a jail cell. Because now at this point, you're done. You walk around, look in your house, try to see if you see a dot or something. You know, oh, I wonder what's in that light socket over there. Your life has changed. Pretty much over. They've looked all through you. They've given you a colonoscopy of epic proportions. They did that before they arrested you. And while you were in jail, going through the processing, you know there were guys at your house, right? And just putting all kinds of bugs and stuff and everything. Talking to your neighbors. The neighbors are like, no, I don't know nothing about this. Or other people are like, oh yeah, she had to have these guys coming around, tattoos, everything. Yeah, looking at your bank accounts. Your life is over. And now the Democrats are starting to realize he was serious. Remember, he's like, well, you know, he talked about it, but, you know, nothing ever happened because people kept complaining about Bondi and nothing was happening. Oh, Now what? So here's Miss Dugan, and she's going to pretty much lay out one of the reasons, and listen to the phrase she says, because that's very important.
Is premised on equal justice, but also we have evolved into due process. And it's really the due process. I, as a person who for a couple decades almost represented low-income people, it is due process that really equalizes those differences between people.
Judge, anything to say about this?
Life as she knows it is now over. And she, you know, they let her out on the bail. She's not going anywhere. She's an older woman. She may end up going someplace, but right now she's home crying. She's like, oh, what am I going to do? And of course, she'll get judges and all the Democrats will start fighting for her. And they'll start trying to, you know, see what we can do. We have to have a full throttled approach in terms of going after Trump. Now, the Maryland man, you're done. Understand it right now. This guy will, if you ever watched mainstream media, you won't hear his name for quite some time. Now it's like, OMG, we need to fight on these fronts. We don't worry about the Maryland man. Now he's going after judges and probably politicians after that. Oh, you're in deep, deep, deep trouble. So I'm going to show you something because we got more to go over. I still haven't even told you what you should know. I'm just covering actually what's happened. What you should know is what we're going to get to in a little bit. Let's take some comments. She will take the easy way out. If she was going to take the easy way out, she'd have told that limo to pull over at the bridge. I'm done, okay? Because I'm done either way. The people that I've been taking payments for, the people who I've been doing different. You ever hear the story or ever talk to a battered woman? And a battered woman will tell you, a guy that beats on you, it seldom stops or happened with one time. I won't do it again. I really promise I won't do it again. Well, this judge, if you're crooked, this isn't probably the first time she's been crooked. And now you're going to have more people just going through her files, looking at every... There's no way out. There is no way. They're going to start digging and digging and digging and digging and digging. Or they've already been digging and digging like, we got this one. So you're a judge right now somewhere in the country, and you've been doing whatever you've been doing to harbor one of these people. Like Jahatsmi says, take the easy way out. The doors, stairs, or the 12th floor window. They're coming for you. Tom Homan looked in a camera. I'm coming for you. So you guys, until today, when it really sank in, it's 2 judges in 24 hours. Now they're starting to realize, oh my gosh, it's really happening, isn't it? Yep, it's really happening. This is what we voted for. Don't worry about the Epstein list anymore. That'll come. that'll be something that we can all talk about and talk about in whatever time frame it is. Don't worry about anybody talking about Bongino and Bondi and Kash Patel. Our president set priorities, and he set them the day he got into office. And most of us, including myself, didn't pay attention. It's amazing. Treason season. Let's see here. AOC must be shaking in her boots. Oh, yeah. AOC had hired someone in office for years. Please let her be next. You know what the best thing about this is? All right, so this happened, the second judge happened at 9:30 Eastern time. You know what the best thing about this is? It's almost like a mob movie you're watching. The Godfather walked away with his wife and got on an airplane and went to Rome. I'm not in this. Go do what you guys need to do. And it's early. It's only 4 o'clock. Now he lands. Now remember what he's doing. He's going from here, and he's going all the way to Rome, and he's having the funeral, and then he's getting right out and coming right back. I bet you he's on the ground. I mean, if I pulled up his schedule, not that long. And all this stuff is happening right now, and it's going to be all over the news, and people are freaking out, and they're wondering, OMG, how did this ever happen? And he's about to show you. It's not over. It's definitely not over. Make bartending great. Start betting on crooked judges, better odds than the lotto. I have a site I want to show you. Remember, everyone was looking at those betting sites, because those betting sites were able to show people more what the trend was. And we're going to look at a betting site here in a second. But yeah, you're absolutely right. The domino effect. One falls, they all fall. Now, here's a question to ask yourself. Notice where these 2 first arrests took place. Wisconsin and over in New Mexico. So even though they're federal, they took place in those states, not in Washington. Not in that hornet's nest, that putrid area of Washington. It happened way over there. New Mexico and Wisconsin. And so it's not surrounded by the mainstream media, and they don't have any information. I'm anxious myself to see what the docket says if it gets released. Let's see here. Winning more, need more, Barry. Yes, exactly. All right, so let's listen to what Pam Bondi had to say. Remember I told you it's even worse than they said on those newscasts? Well, Pam Bondi somehow ended up in New York today. I believe this is where this is Washington, so it's right there. Trey is in Washington. I'm not sure where Sandra is. She looks like she might be in New York. But anyway, she showed up on set.
Today's arrest of a judge marks the second such case in the last 24 hours. A former New Mexico judge and his wife were taken into custody yesterday. Federal agents arresting them for harboring a suspected Tren de Aragua gang member in their guest house.
For more on all of this, we are honored to have in the new U.S. Attorney General, Pam Bondi. It's good to talk to you, Pam.
Good to talk to you.
So let me read a little bit from the criminal complaint here. And Judge Dugan says, despite having been advised of the administrative warrant for the arrest of Flores Ruiz, Judge Dugan then escorted Flores Ruiz and his counsel out of the courtroom through the jury door, which leads to a non-public area of the courthouse. A foot chase ensued. The agents pursued Flores Ruiz for the entire length of the courthouse and ultimately apprehended him. According to this complaint, Judge Dugan was visibly angry that ICE was there to arrest Flores Ruiz, even tried to kick the deportation.
Did you catch that? He's not reading a tweet. He's reading the actual complaint. Somehow, he got a copy of the actual complaint. I found that kind of interesting. Did she bring it with her? Because the other news sources couldn't find it. He's reading it.
Agents out of the courthouse.
Yeah, and to set the stage for you and Sandra, this was truly horrific. This guy was in court being prosecuted by a state prosecutor for domestic violence battery. He had beat up two people, a guy and a girl, hit the guy 30 times, knocked him to the ground, choked him, beat up a woman so badly they both had to go to the hospital. And John, you know, it's so rare for victims to want to cooperate. They wanted to.
The other news stations never said that. Why? Maybe they didn't know. They haven't seen the complaint. I don't know. But they should have been able to see the case that she was adjudicating with Mr. Ruiz. You see, her arrest might be sealed, but I'm pretty sure Mr. Ruiz's arrest was public. But they chose not to mention the fact that, here we go, yet again, another woman beater. See a trend happening here? Another woman beater.
Cooperate. They were sitting in the courtroom with the state prosecutor. The judge learns that ICE was outside to get the guy because he had been deported in 2013, came back in our country, commits these crimes, charged with committing these crimes, victims in court. Judge finds out. She goes out in the hallway, screams at the immigration officers. She's furious, visibly shaken, upset, sends them off to talk to the chief judge. She comes back in the courtroom, you're not going to believe this, takes the defendant and the defense attorney back in her chambers, takes them out a private exit and tells them to leave. While a state prosecutor and victims of domestic violence are sitting in the courtroom.
Wow.
You know, Madam Attorney General, great to have you here.
These people are sick. She's running her own little underground railroad for illegals. The guy beats up a woman, beats up a guy. He's being prosecuted. She finds out the ICE people are coming and says, come down with the hallway with me. I'll show you the way out of here. It's like something out of Jack from 24. This is crazy. Absolutely crazy. But the rest of the media won't report that.
Thanks for coming back on America Report. So we remember these words of Tom Homan, the border czar. This was March 17th, and his message on these judges who apparently are trying to get in the way of this administration's efforts. Listen.
I'm proud to be a part of this administration. We're not stopping. I don't care what the judges think. I don't care what the left thinks. We're coming.
So when you see these judges trying to obstruct your efforts to make this country safer, what is your message to them?
We are going to prosecute you, and we are prosecuting you. I found out about this the day it happened. We could not believe, actually, that a judge really did that. We looked into the facts in great depth. That's her picture up on the screen, Hannah Dugan, who is now in custody. You cannot obstruct a criminal case, and really, shame on her. It was a domestic violence case of all cases, and she's protecting a criminal defendant over victims of crime.
In fact, she just had an initial appearance in court. There's also this other case coming out of New Mexico.
I mean, when you...
All right, so now she's going to tell you about Judge Cano, who had the guy in the casita, and what they have on him, which it's not as bad as beating up on a woman, but it's equally as bad in terms of
to TDA. So what charges will Cano and his wife face, if any?
So Judge Cano, soon to be former Judge Cano, got his charges were just unsealed. He's charged with obstruction. He is charged. He admitted post Miranda. He took one of the TDA members' cell phones himself, took it, beat it with a hammer, destroyed it, and then walked the pieces to a city dumpster to dispose of it to protect him. The wife.
I recall someone else breaking up a phone with a hammer. Yeah, that kind of happens. Seems like that happens a lot with Democrats. I'm going to break up this phone, and I'm not throwing it away. I'm going to take the stuff to the dumpster. So as you heard her say that, he broke the phone, he took the pieces, he went to the dump. How would she know that? You see, as the walls started closing in, the guy from that TDA guy that was living in the casita had to have been said, here's what is going to happen, here's what he's going to do, blah, blah. They were watching him. There's no way you would have found pieces of a phone in a landfill. They had to know. Okay, here he goes. Yep, yeah, I got him. Yeah, he's turning into the landfill right now.
So is charged with destroying evidence. Sandra, not only that, this TDA member, and he had on a necklace that said kill, something about death. He had tattoos all over him. He also had on his cell phone pictures of 2 decapitated victims. 2.
Oh, pray for this country. These people are running wild. The Democrats are trying to protect them. And this idiot is walking around with pictures of decapitated people on his cell phone. These are the type of people that the Democrats are willing to go to the mat for. These are the type of people that these Democrats think that we're being mean to. I don't know a single person ever in my life who walks around with pictures of decapitated people.
Victims, decapitated, gruesome photos, and he was sending them out, and whoever he was sending them to was sending back saying, hey, you need to be careful. You shouldn't be sending these. You shouldn't be texting these photos out. Not only that, these...
Poor dude. If you weren't in TDA and he texted you that, when you see the black truck show up at your house, understand why. Like, you received them, and why was he texting you these pictures? And why did you tell him to be careful? Oh, this is just going out and out and out.
The judge and his wife gave him assault rifles that belonged to their daughter. That's what they're charged with. In the criminal report affidavit, he goes to a shooting range with these assault rifles, with a suppressor, with other known TDA members, and they're shooting. This is the last person that we want in our country, nor will we ever tolerate.
Did you catch that one? They had silencers on the weapons at the gun range that the judge gave them. Why would a judge be giving these guys weapons? Fill in this story here that you're seeing, and it was just Christmas presents. Hey, here's a silencer, okay? Well, I don't know what you're going to do with it, but here's a silencer. And to show you how to use it, let's go over to the range with some more of your gang buddies, and let's take some shots, see if you like it. Gosh.
All right, a judge or anyone else harboring them.
There are laws on the books that make it a criminal offense to shield or harbor illegal immigrants, like the sanctuary states and unions have been doing. Do you think they should be prosecuted with both federal and possibly put in prison?
Just look at the look on this man's face. Smiling. Oh my gosh, I'd be terrified.
Absolutely. And hold tight on that one, because it's coming. It's coming. I've been clear on that since day one.
I put that in twice because he's absolutely right. We've been clear on that since day one. And most of us, maybe some of you guys in the chat thought otherwise, man, I completely missed it. Completely missed it. So before I go into the Democrat insanity, because the Democrat insanity is even worse. It will absolutely freak you out. Let me go ahead and read this from Home Title Lock in case you guys are, oops, I guess I won't be reading it from Home Title Lock. I'll have to wait and come back to that one because it's black. My bad. But in any event, I think I've got something from Patriot Addict I can read for you. Let me just talk about that, see if they've got something good for you. And yes, what are we looking for? What's this? All right, so I talked about this yesterday, and it's pretty awesome. They're doing something called the Berry Pack, and the Berry Pack is coming. So the Berry Pack is the ultimate Trump collection featuring the Trump sequel hat. That's this hat. I was wearing this yesterday. Let me put it back on. You're going to get this hat, the Trump sequel hat. You're going to get a Trump watch, and you're going to get a Trump blanket. And you're going to get a Trump knife. Okay, so you're getting everything. You're getting the hat, you're getting the watch, you're getting the Trump knife, and you're going to get the Trump blanket. Where is it? Come on, Mr. Blanket, over here. I had it yesterday watching FBI shows. And here's the blanket. You're going to get this blanket too. Now, you're going to get all of that. This hat, this blanket, this knife, the Trump watch. You're going to get it all for just $59. $59. All you got to do is go ahead and click the QR code or take a snapshot of it. Or you can go to, what are they saying the name of this is going to be? It's the berrypack.com. So it's $59 for all this stuff. And I found out because people ask me, like, Barry, how much is the shipping? It's free shipping. Free shipping. So for $59, you get the hat, you get the knife, you get the blanket, and you get the Trump watch just for $59 flat. All of it. All four items would normally cost $238, but they're practically giving it away. I'm sorry, it's $69. My bad, $69. And just be aware, prices have already gone up on this, so I strongly recommend you take action right now. They've set aside 500 packs for the fanfare audience, and they're already down to the last few. And I can't guarantee that this collection will ever be available again. So scan the QR code right now or visit berrypack.com to claim yours before they're all gone. At $69, that's a deal. I mean, I don't. And if you have any problems, like a gentleman had problems and he called me and I got it taken care of for him. So if you need to do that, go ahead and do it for $69 for all these things. I'm gonna see if they'll throw in a bobblehead too. I'll ask them if they'll throw in a bobblehead. But yeah, that's a great deal. Great deal. I don't care how you look at it. Each one of those things, we love them. We love them here. All right, so I'm going to take a break, and then I'm going to hit you with the Democrat response.
Back to Fanfare with Barry Cunningham.
All right, so I got this, and I've got the home title thing fixed, so let me just do this. Okay, so if you're a homeowner, you need to listen to this. When's the last time you checked on your home title? Not the mortgage, the title. See, that's the legal proof that you own your house. If you're like most people, the answer is never. People don't go back and check their title. You get a mortgage statement, you pay your mortgage every single month, but people don't go back and check their title. I know this because I've been in real estate for 30 years. The problem is, in today's AI and cyber world, scammers are stealing home titles, and your equity is the target. Here's how it works. Criminals will forge your signature on one document, and that document is often called a quitclaim document, which you can get online anywhere. Then they use a fake notary stamp, and then they go to the courthouse and pay a $10, $15, $20 fee, and that's it. That literally is it. Once I file that paper, I now own your property. Doesn't matter what mortgage, doesn't matter anything. Once I file that title, even though I've forged the document, I now own your property. And you may think to yourself, well, the city won't let that happen, or the county or state. It is not their job to make sure the documents are correct. Their job at a recorder's office is merely to record what they are given. They have no liability, and they don't care. I've seen it. I've actually seen it. I've had to go and file quiet title lawsuits to get things put back the way they're supposed to be. And they're really expensive. Because once these people do that, and if you have equity, they're going to go ahead and take out a loan on your property. Or they may even try to sell it. And that's how I got involved in one. Somebody tried to sell me a property that they didn't own. And JJ, who was my attorney, he went back and he goes, got a problem. What? I just ran a title search, and a name on the contract and a name on the deed, they match, but you look at the signature and it looks like they already sold it. Yeah, something's not right. So you would never know unless you tried to sell the property, or until you get a collection notice because a mortgage that you never got is on your property, or you get a foreclosure notice because they stopped paying altogether, and you're done. Completely done. That's why you need to stop what you're doing today and find out if you're already a victim. It's really simple. Use promo code Barry at HomeTitleLock.com to make sure your title is still in your name. You'll also get a free title history report, plus a free 14-day trial of their $1 million triple lock protection. That's 24/7 monitoring of your title, urgent alerts to any changes, and if fraud should happen or a chihuahua would do something, they'll spend up to $1 million to fix it. Go to HomeTitleLock.com now. Use promo code Barry. That's HomeTitleLock.com, promo code Barry. Now, I just want to let you know, there are people all over the internet go, oh, that's a ripoff. I wouldn't do it. Yeah, you could do it yourself. You could absolutely monitor your title yourself. You could cut your hair yourself if you want. Just buy some, but you're not a professional at it. And if something happens, let's just say you did check your title. It's like, wait a minute, who's John Smith? Okay, so someone stole the title. Good luck trying to get it fixed on your own. Now you're going to have to go to a lawyer. Don't go to the recorder's office. They're going to tell you to go home. You're going to have to go to a lawyer and pay the lawyer, unless he's your son or something, and you're going to have to pay thousands of dollars to get that title back in your name. So it's worth it. All right, so that being said, let's go ahead and talk about the Democrats being worried. But before I talk to the Democrats being worried, now is when, should I talk about the Democrats first or show you what actually is happening? Well, let's listen to the Democrats, because I think some of them have figured it out. I think they figured it out a while ago. That's why they've been freaking. Because this is now coming to fruition, and it's what we wanted. So let's listen.
This week, we learned that 75% of the men on that plane to El Salvador, the men that President Trump claimed were the worst of the worst, were in fact not hardened criminals. Are we surprised that it was another example of optics over evidence? 75% of these men, no criminal charges in the United States. One of these men, 31-year-old Andre Hernandez Ramirez, who was snatched off the streets, put on a plane to El Salvador to rot in prison. Andre is not a gang member. He's not a terrorist. He's no threat to anyone. He is a son, a brother, a makeup artist, a hairdresser. He is a man who fled his home country to come to the United States because he feared for his life because he's gay. We are being lied to. These kinds of cruel tactics are not necessary to keep us safe. This is about taking away due process, intimidating us into...
Hearing that word? Hearing that being said? Oh, you heard it. Due process, due process, due process. With all the things she said he is, you know, he's a father, he's this, he's that, he's gay, she threw that in there. With all, she forgot one attribute. And that one attribute is the problem for the Democrats. Because number one, they don't say what that attribute is. So I'll tell you, you probably already know. He's not supposed to be here. He came here illegally. He got caught. She all her glowing things that she said, he's not a hardened criminal. So he's not a hardened criminal, but he's a criminal nonetheless, right? I mean, he committed a crime. No big deal. He just came here from, wherever, snuck in because he's gay. I didn't know that was a reason to seek asylum. I'm gay. But that's what she said. You see, they're using the same words again over and over. Due process, not a hardened criminal. He was a father, a son, whatever. But you forget the one aspect of things, because that one aspect is very, very telling.
To silence and submission. If this administration will do this to Andre, they will do it to anyone. We are all at risk. Protect due process. I yield.
Okay, so in these next couple clips, this is only like 2 minutes before I get to the meat here. What they're going to be telling you, this is the Democrats, they're freaking out. Due process, due process, due process. He didn't do anything really wrong. He just swam across the Rio Grande and ended up in Texas. No big deal. And now the new narrative is if they can do it to them, they can do it to you. Oh yeah, you're at risk. Didn't you know that?
Back. I've been talking about this all week, but Janae Nelson of the NAACP Legal Defense Fund, she penned an op-ed in The Nation this week, and her op-ed talked about that we think that democracies are... the way they die is dramatically through these wars and blood is shed, and it's cinematic in a sense. But really, the realistic way in which democracies die is that it's dismantled brick by brick, piece by piece. And she says that what we are seeing now with the lawlessness from this administration are really the canaries in the coal mine gasping for air. I'm paraphrasing here. But to me, that is why Kilmar Abrego Garcia's specific case, the case of the gentleman who's a makeup artist out of California who was also sent to that prison, that is why the 75% of the folks who have been sent, the men who have been sent there that don't have criminal records, that is why this is so important. Because if they could do it to them, if they could snatch students off the street without any pushback or recourse, they will do it to any of us. And to be very clear, it's going to be the people of color and vulnerable communities that are next in line.
We're living.
I want you to focus in on something that you're going to be hearing. Well, actually, you've heard it here, and you will continue to hear from the Democrats. If they can do it to them, they can do it to anybody. That's very, very important. Why would they be concerned whatsoever of, hey, it's this guy from, I don't know, Guatemala who swam across the border, or this guy from the Congo? Why are they so concerned that it can happen to anybody? There's no way that could happen, is it? I mean, you live in America. Is there any possible way, anything that President Trump, anybody could ever do that could make it that anybody can be taken off the street and shipped away? Do you think they know something, or maybe have known something for quite some time, but haven't had the guts to talk about it? You think, many of these people are lawyers, and they have lawyers that work for them. And you think that they've been trying to stop this because they know what's coming? And as Trump, you say, and many of you have said, nobody can stop what's coming. How can nobody stop what's coming?
In something like a gangster state right now, where people like Erik Prince think that they've got the right to take taxpayer resources to set up offshore prisons and justice systems or injustice systems that have nothing to do with the American rule of law and a due process. So
there's that word again, due process. They're jumping all over that because they're afraid, they're terrified of somehow due process being snatched away from them and President Trump getting to the heart of the illicit stuff Democrats have done, and where he is basically going, I'm done. We're just getting rid of you. We're not going to play this game where we go, oh, judge said this, judge said that, here's another ruling, all this stuff keeps happening. And now they're concerned about due process, as if Trump could basically go Andrew Jackson style on them. They're terrified of it. They know this at this point.
I imagine that they look at Guantanamo Bay as some kind of towering example of what they'd like to reproduce all over the world. We have to stop that, obviously, to prevent a slide into complete dictatorship. Look, Donald Trump is a convicted criminal. Could he be sent off to a foreign prison?
Sure. Absolutely. Try it. See, that's the problem that they're having. Because if they could, you damn right know that they would ship Donald Trump someplace. Oh, no doubt about it. They would drool at the chance to get rid of Donald Trump. So the comparison is absolutely true, except you can't do it. Continue.
Good question. You know, you're separating people from their families. You're separating people from their lawyers, implicating the right to counsel. And you're engaging in a form of punishment, banishment, which hasn't been seen for centuries, really.
Talking about, I don't want to get into too much detail, but there's someone in our broader universe whose immigration status is not yet at the point that they are trying to get it to. And we said, you know what, let's have her live at our house above our garage. And good luck to the feds coming in to try to get her.
You know who that was? That was the governor of New Jersey, Phil Murphy, who just went on video and said he was harboring an illegal. And I think President Trump set a new, government attorney up to New Jersey named Alina Habba. You don't think they've seen that video? Oh yeah, we wanted to make sure ICE couldn't do anything, so we put her up in the garage someplace. It's like, it's crazy. You're seeing them panic because they know what's coming and they have no way to stop it. This was posted earlier. Excuse me. Democrats are revving up a full-throated campaign to defend a judge who helped a newcomer who was in court for a domestic violence case attempt to escape immigration enforcement out the back door of her courtroom. And this is what the House Judiciary of the Democrats put out there. It's a statement from none other than the guy you just saw, Jamie Raskin. Americans are watching with outrage. No, not really. Some Americans. The stunning news that Trump's FBI has arrested a sitting judge in Milwaukee for alleged obstruction of an immigration arrest. While all the facts are not yet in, the implications of this arrest are chilling. This is a drastic escalation and dangerous new front in Trump's authoritarian campaign of trying to bully, intimidate, and impeach judges who won't follow his dictates. We must do whatever we can to defend the independent judiciary in America. So now they're going to go to the mattresses here. They are going to fight like hell to make sure that these judges can continue to do what they've been doing, because they've been facilitating all of this stuff on behalf of the Democrats. And now he's picking these people up and he's placing them in custody, and they're losing it. You're going to see some stuff now that you haven't seen in quite some time. It's all becoming clearer to them, and my job is to make it clearer to you what exactly is going on. What's this thing? All right, this is an attorney in, I think it's Wisconsin, who's freaking out because this woman. Oh no, this is our boy Don Lemon. Listen to this.
Is this what we've come to? A judge being arrested by the FBI. A judge in Wisconsin was arrested by the FBI. They're accusing her of at least misleading ICE agents or throwing them off the trail of someone that they deem to be an illegal alien, as they call them, or an undocumented person. It's really...
As they call them. I love when these people talk because they basically bare themselves naked. What do you mean, as they call them? They're not supposed to be here. What do you call somebody who's not supposed to be here? I just wonder.
It's scary. Kash Patel was behind it. He put up a tweet. He has since deleted it. I want to know what's going on. Is this where we're living in a time where you can detain judges because they're not doing what you want them to do? What happened to the independence of the judiciary? We're supposed to have 3 branches of government.
Oh. Now you want 3 co-equal branches of government. Oh, I'm sorry. Yesterday, the judges could tell the president what to do, but now you want 3 co-equal branches of government. Too late. You started it. He gonna finish it. Sorry, Donnie. Oh, then what's this one here we got? This is a prosecutor up in Wisconsin.
Defendant is ordered. There'll be a court appearance. That didn't happen in this case. I think what happened here was just showboating. They're just trying to have this show of force, and in the process of doing this in a courthouse where people need to go for court proceedings, they're scaring people away from participating in the process. So if they are witness to a crime or something of the sort, they're not going to go and participate, and that makes our community less safe.
So the issue is with how the arrest happened, not necessarily that there was an investigation.
Again, I don't know all the things that happened.
Well, maybe you shouldn't be talking. Lady asked you a question, so just pretend. I don't really know what's going on, but Democrats told me to get my black butt out here.
But I'm saying that the way that they went about this, in this ham-handed, haphazard way that this administration has been doing since day one, it's driving people away, or has potential to drive people away from participating in court proceedings, which makes our community less safe. I want people to go to court. I want people to have their day in court. I want people to hold folks accountable in our judicial system, but the actions of this administration are driving people away from doing that.
What people feel endangered of going to court by having judges who were playing games with immigration taken away. What's that got to do with me? I'm at court to, file a real estate document. I'm in court to jury duty. I'm in court to swear out a warrant against somebody who broke my fence. What's that got to do with me? Why would I feel unsafe? Unless, of course, I'm not supposed to be here. See, the mayor of Milwaukee here, who's acting very cavalier, that's a little pun. Why would it make me unsafe? Why would I feel like I can't go to the courthouse? You don't make any sense, bro.
That's not good for public safety in Milwaukee.
Do you believe this man should be deported?
I'm sorry?
Do you believe this man should be deported?
I don't know any information about the man. I'm talking specifically about the Trump administration's actions as it relates to this case and what they've been doing with immigration overall.
Wait a second. So you decided to come out there, get on camera, and you have no idea what this case is about. So obviously somebody called you and said, get your butt out there, but I don't know anything about it. Just talk about Trump's administration. Just talk about what they're doing. But you're the mayor of Milwaukee. Can you discuss this? No, I can't discuss this.
He's been president again. Like, they're scaring people. They're scaring people in this community. They're scaring people in immigrant communities all across the United States. And when folks don't participate in our judicial system, bad things happen. Our community becomes less safe. And that's the message that I'm trying to get across.
Do you believe this sets a dangerous precedent moving forward to future judges that could be arrested for similar actions?
Quite possibly so, but I hope that the answer is no. I mean, If a judge is being arrested in a courthouse, just imagine the chilling effect that it sends to other folks who would otherwise participate in judicial proceedings.
If a judge gets arrested in a courthouse, I'm feeling pretty good that this is safe. If someone is willing to come in and arrest a crooked judge, I'm pretty sure I'm very safe. They are actually taking the danger out, you moron. The danger is being removed. What am I in danger for? I didn't do anything. I'm showing up because I got to pay a parking ticket. Or I got to pay a fine. What in the heck? I mean, maybe I got to get a permit for my addition on my house. What the hell? How am I less safe? These people don't even make no sense. They make no sense. No.
In our courthouse, and not just in the Milwaukee County Courthouse, but courthouses across the state of Wisconsin and courthouses across the United States. This makes our community less safe. Less safe. And that's not a good thing for public safety in Milwaukee or anywhere across our country.
Do you know of this happening anywhere else?
I don't know if this happened.
I'm laughing because every time they ask him a question, I don't know. Well, you just said it makes it less safe around the country. You know of anything where it's happening? No, I don't
know. Anywhere else, I haven't seen that. I just know that it's happened here, and I'm concerned about what happens on around public safety on the ground in this city. And that's why I'm bringing attention to this right now.
Has a judge ever been arrested in the city of Milwaukee inside the courthouse before?
Not to my knowledge.
I don't know.
Not to my knowledge.
Mayor, do you know the judge personally or professionally? And how would you describe her?
I've had the opportunity to see Judge Dugan around over the years. She's been elected since 2016.
That's not the question, homie. The question is, do you know her? So thus far, every single question that they've asked him has been, I don't know. Why are you here? Why are you even standing in front of the cameras if every single question you're getting from the press is, I don't know. I can't tell you.
That's the same year that I was initially elected as well. So we've seen each other at a number of community events out in Milwaukee over the course of the last nearly 10 years, nearly a decade.
Have you been in contact with any of the victims that Mr. Ruiz allegedly struck?
No.
Oh, this is embarrassing. You know he's in here for domestic violence. He was beating people up, right? Yeah. You've been in contact with them? No. You know the people who came here to get out of danger. You haven't been in contact with the actual people who got beat up by the dude? No. Why are you here? I play this stuff because I can't even. I'm a reporter. I'm sitting here with my pad. I know they're trying to be respectful, but why are you here? That's why I could never go to some of these press conferences, because I would actually say, why am I here? You don't know anything. You don't even know the woman who's the judge, and you haven't even talked to the people who are into domestic violence. What are you doing?
I have not been in contact with any victims. My concern, again, here is strictly about the tactics used as it relates to this judge and what ICE has done as it relates to other individuals who've been arrested in the courthouse. It sends a chilling effect to other people who will participate in our judicial process here in Milwaukee. And when folks do not step up, when folks do not participate in the judicial process, that makes our community less safe. That's the message here. The actions of the Trump administration are making our community less safe. That's not a good thing for public.
Are those people here that you say feel less safe? I mean, is there any way we can get some of them to come forward? Who feels less safe because the judge got arrested? I would just like to know. No, you don't have anybody? No, it's just Trump. Trump's doing bad things to Democrats. That's enough. That's why I'm here. Dude, you're the mayor of Milwaukee. How about driving down the street, wait until like about 9 or 10 o'clock tonight when the guns start popping, and tell me what about you really care about safety. Tell me you care about safety when that happens. But then again, maybe you're just worried about something else. Maybe, in Wisconsin, in Milwaukee, where there was some questionable voting, Maybe you're worried about what are they going to do in Milwaukee if these people that you feel less safe about voting fraudulently. Listen to what they say. This guy had no business being out there. What are you freaking out about, bro? Nobody's coming for you yet. Nobody's doing anything to anybody else in here yet. Just go about your business. Who sent you out here to look stupid? Well, speaking of looking stupid.
This is her courtroom, Boris, and she's in control of her courtroom. We've never had a case like this. The only one that resembles it is one in which the judge took actual steps to deceive and prevent ICE from coming in. She handled it and said, look, if you want to make an arrest, don't do it in my courtroom. Don't exploit it. You can do it on the street. There's no principle that says she has to somehow aid them.
See, sometimes they assemble these people who don't know what the heck's going on. And none of these people now should have the paperwork. And they go, well, is it part of procedure to lead somebody out the back door? Tell me, it's her courtroom. Is she okay to lead somebody out the back door when they're supposed to be getting put under arrest? And by the way, would she do it for anybody else? I mean, I'm standing in front of her and I robbed a bank. Well, so that the marshals don't take me away, will she show me the way out the back door? I'm just wondering if this is something that's in the toolbox of judges. That you can just say, you know what, I don't want you to go to jail. Follow me. I'm going to take you out this back door. And then you can run. Why is it just the illegals?
In their facilitation of the arrest of this man, I think, I agree, it's a real escalation, but I think it's hyperbolic at best to say she was harboring a fugitive. She was saying, not in my courtroom. And I think this is not just an aggressive, but probably an over-aggressive move by the Bureau. My best guess is that this case is going to collapse because you need to have corrupt intent. It's not just enough to not want him to be arrested. You need to have corrupt intent under federal law. And it's one thing.
Showing a guy out the back door isn't intent? Did the back door just happen to open up like a portal? I mean, it was over there, right? And she decided to go through the judge's chambers and bring the guy with her. How is that not intent? How stupid is your audience? How much of a complete moron can this guy be talking about intent when she intentionally took him out the back door? Man.
If you do positive steps to deceive, but simply to say, while you're in my courtroom, you can exit here, enter here, and he's still arrested. I don't think they're going to be able to.
While you're in my courtroom, I can tell you which door you can exit or enter. I have the complete control of what doors and people can go in and out of. Really?
Show it, and in any event, it is an extremely aggressive move against a sitting state judge.
Harry, can we just talk about how many layers of norms are being broken here? Because you have the immigration crackdown.
Oh, shut up. How many layers of norm were broken when you arrested a president? When you sent armed men to his house and rifled through his wife's underwear drawer? How many norms were broken back then? Well, now I can tell you why all this is happening and why you should have known it. All right, so you're saying, Barry, how did you know this? Well, I did some research. And it goes all the way back to President Trump's first day. And I missed it. I confess, I completely missed it. Many of you probably missed it. So let me show you something, because this is extremely important for you to know going forward. And it's extremely important for anybody watching right now to understand what's happening. and how this ties in with the Andrew Jackson stuff and how it ties in with getting these newcomers off the street and everything. He told this on January 20th, and we didn't pay attention. On January 20th, his first day in office, President Trump signed an executive order, and it's named Protecting the American People Against Invasion. And it's on the White House. You can go. You can't see it, but it's on whitehouse.gov. It's published. It's sitting right there. And it's rather long. I mean, you can spend your time going through it and everything. Look how long this thing is. You get all the wheretofores and heretofores and everything else. I mean, it's just pages and pages and pages long. I am obviously not going to read all this to you, but it was January 20th, 2025, the day he was inaugurated. One of the very first things he did when he got into office. Protecting the American people against invasion. What this executive order, in the way he wants to apply it, gives him and the people he deems, like Homan and some other people, the absolute authority to take anybody off the street. If he feels that you're working against the best interest of the United States, Miss Judge, Mr. Other Judge, and you're collaborating with not just illegals, if you're collaborating with the enemy. I want you to let that set in. When he signed this, this is about an invasion. Protecting the American people against invasion. And it goes through the entire thing, but what they're absolutely talking about, and it couples with the emergency that he placed on the country, is that this executive order allows him to do what Democrats and many attorneys and some people on the right believe is the unthinkable. That unthinkable is one, Andrew Jacksonian. He could probably go there. But number two, and probably number 1A, is he can suspend habeas corpus. And some of you guys are sitting right now going, what the heck is habeas corpus? That's the law in the Constitution that allows you rights of not being detained. By calling it an invasion, because usually the only way that you can possibly suspend habeas corpus is through Congress. And you'll hear that probably next couple of days all over the place, that's what you have to do to suspend habeas corpus. But what happens if you've declared an invasion, which you did on your very first day in office? The Democrats have known this, and this is what's freaking them out. He is now at the point where he's beginning to execute this. Like Tom Homan smiled, and I'm coming for you. And you can't do anything about it. Not these local judges, they can't do anything. So you probably think to yourself, did people talk about this? Yeah, people talked about it. Look what they wrote. What just happened? This was written January 28th on justsecurity.org. What just happened? The invasion executive order and its dangerous implications. They knew it when it happened. And they hoped, one, you'd never find out. And secondly, they hoped other Republicans would say, don't do it. And they were worried, how is he going to execute it? Well, here we are, literally 3 months from the date that he did it. And look at what we have here. In a newly issued executive order, President Trump claims that an illegal migration qualifies as an invasion, thereby giving him the power to shut down all or nearly all legal pathways to migration, even in violation of laws enacted by Congress. He cites the guarantee clause of Article 4, Section 4 of the Constitution, which states The United States shall guarantee to every state in the Union a Republican form of government and shall protect each of them against invasion. The scary part is, let me get to it because as it goes, and you guys can all read this yourself when they get to it. Hold on, I'm going to get to that part. All right, here it is. Trump's arguments have sweepingly dangerous implications. The Trump order asserts that the president has the right to use the invasion theory to shut down all immigration for as long as he wants, even otherwise authorized by the federal statute. This is a blatant usurpation of congressional authority insofar as the administration's invasion rationale is, as shown above, one that applies at all times, trampling the separation of powers is even greater. Next paragraph, and this is the big one. So I'm gonna highlight this so you guys can see it. In addition, the invasion argument would give the federal government the power to suspend the writ of habeas corpus almost any time it wants, thereby enabling detention of people, including U.S. citizens. Now you see how they're saying this? Oh, he can just go up and snatch anybody off the street. And people are like, no, he can't do that. Yeah, he can. Yes, he can. At this point, he has begun doing the nuclear option. It's in play. I told you guys we have been in a war. Now you know the Civil War is upon us. No ifs, ands, or buts. This executive order has not been rescinded. It's still sitting there. And it spells doom for the Democrats. Let's continue with this. It can, even U.S. citizens, let's see here, let me redo that, without trial or even filing charges. Notice what I said earlier when they were talking about, hey, we haven't seen the documents yet. I ain't got to file anything right now. The suspension clause of the Constitution states that the privilege of the writ of habeas corpus shall not be suspended unless, when in cases of rebellion or invasion, the public safety may require it. If illegal immigration and drug smuggling qualify as an invasion for the purposes of triggering state and federal authority under the invasion clause of Article 1 and the guarantee clause of Article 4, they also surely qualify under the suspension clause. Since there is significant illegal migration and cross-border smuggling at virtually any time, this would be a blank check for suspending civil liberties. Checkmate. He put this in place. He knew where he was going. We didn't pay attention. Nobody in the media paid attention. When I talked to you about that vast whiteboard that they must have somewhere, it all started. All of it started on day one. Notice what Tom Homan said. I've been on this since day one. Those were his exact words. And I'm thinking, day one? What happened on day one? Oh yeah, he signed a whole bunch of executive orders. You better go look at what he signed on day one. And so I went and go look and, hey, what did he sign on day one? Oh, that's nice. Oh yeah, that's nice. Oh yeah. Oh. And it was funny because it was like some sort of time warp. Everything I've heard over the last couple of months started rushing at me. He's going to snatch people off the street. You're going to be next. Due process. Everything that this thing says is what they've been saying in the news that they were afraid of. They couldn't tell the population. It's already done. It's happening. Yes, he could snatch you off the street. Not that Tom Homan would, but if you're a judge and you're harboring illegals, yeah, you're up. You're up at bat. Judge in New Mexico, we're taking you. And some of you are probably saying, Barry, this is some crazy stuff. No, he didn't lie. He posted it. And I said to myself, How did nobody see this? And this thing here is a very liberal site, and it spells it out right there. It would give him, this would be a blank check for suspending vital civil liberties. So when he's been saying over and over and over, this is an invasion, and I'm going to enact what? The AEA, Alien Invasion Act. And he's been saying it over and over, and we're like, okay, what's that mean? How can you do this? It's some old law. It's still law. And even the libs wrote an article, and you can see what the title of the article is. It's like, basically, the title of the article is, "Oh, poop, what just happened? The invasion executive order and its dangerous implications." And it's been sitting here since January 28th. And I found it this morning, and I'm like, people aren't going to believe me when I say this. If I didn't have this to show you. And the guy who wrote it, and this is him, Ilya Samlin. He wrote it. He's a professor of law at George Mason University and a chairman in constitutional studies at the Cato Institute, and all these different things that he's been doing for quite some time. He writes for the New York Times, the Washington Post, Wall Street Journal, Los Angeles Times, CNN, blah 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 blah. All the liberal outlets he's been a part of, and he's like, what just happened? And that was in January, and it's been sitting there like a time bomb. Just ticking, tick, 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 until it started happening. And so we all thought, myself included, hey, why isn't Pam Bondi doing this? Why aren't they doing this? Why aren't they doing this? Because they already had their game plan. This is the first thing we want to do. Didn't say, hey, listen, we need to go after Epstein, or no, I'm telling you what I'm going after first. And everybody missed it. Including me. I'm not putting myself beyond this whatsoever. So you're going to see people literally freaking out in the streets. Elon reposted this. He goes, reminder, the reason Democrat judges are fighting so hard to keep even the illegals, criminal aliens, is about control of the House. Good point here. If they're removed or not counted for apportionment, Democrats would lose 10 seats in the House, giving the GOP a 27-seat advantage. All right, so you're listening to the mayor of Milwaukee talking about it's going to make people afraid to come forward. Exactly. If they're not comfortable going to the courthouse, how comfortable are they going to be to vote fraudulently? At this point, it's chasing them into the shadows, which is exactly what Trump wants to do. If they're terrified of popping their head out because they might get snatched any place they are and people will squeal on them, then they're probably not going to vote illegally. And with that happens, they lose. It'd be a 27-seat advantage in the House. Well, the breadcrumbs should now be starting to fall in front of you where you can see them yourself. And now they got another judge who they're going to be looking at. The judge who blocked Trump from cutting funding to sanctuary cities has deep ties to the Democrat Party. So I wouldn't be surprised if in the next few days this judge ends up like flying a coop or something. Because every single one of these judges, Judge Bo Asperger, all of you right now, I don't need due process. See, the one thing that the Democrats have been screaming about, Trump doesn't need. You don't get due process. Especially the people who have been using the court system to stop his agenda. So somebody somewhere hatched a huge plan that the Democrats got wind of and said, here's what we need to do. We need all you judges to do this, this, and this, and do it. So is it possible he let all these judges expose themselves and now they can begin looking at them? Governor of, I believe, no, he's senator, he used to be the governor. I believe this is Colorado. Yes, this is John Hickenlooper. John Hickenlooper is the now senator. He was the governor of Colorado. He posed, "This country is a nation of laws. Due process is a fundamental American value. To snatch people off our streets, separate them from their families, and deport them to a prison in a foreign country, all without following laws or maintaining due process, it's egregious. The administration must obey the courts." By the way, that was April 17th. They knew what was about to happen. Due process, due process, due process. You've heard it all over the news at this point. And it just keeps coming and coming and coming. In response, Doge AI, which I believe is Elon's people, previous admins ignored illegal entries, creating border chaos. Courts enabled catch and release, letting cartels flood us with fentanyl and trafficking. Priority now is protect Americans, enforce laws, stop open borders. Legal immigration works. Weak enforcement failed. That's why you're hearing the due process thing. That's why you're hearing the snatch thing. That's why you're hearing all this stuff that they're completely wigged out about. And it goes all the way back to this article that you can read at any point. Go ahead and you can search the title, and it'll come up. And this guy laid it all out. I mean, it's a long article, a very long article. And so, all of this, every single bit of it, President Trump knew, we knew, I should have known, we all should have known, we didn't pay attention, and this was done on January 20th, day one. And now all this stuff should probably be coming clearer to you and saying, oh boy, oh yeah, just saying. It's very crazy. Let's see here. Thank goodness I'm on the right side of history. He used ChatGPT to write that article. The Constitution gives due process to citizens, not illegals. It's crazy. Why doesn't Congress pass a law to protect the USA from the immigrants? Don't know. Maybe that's what it was too. Let me give them the time to see if they're going to do something. But now that the switch has been pulled, now they realize he's tired of waiting, and Operation Snatch Him Up has begun. Operation Take a Judge Out has begun, and it's not going to end well. What happened that no one is above the law? They won't be saying that anymore. Nope. Yes, now we know who the rotten judges are. Exactly. We know who those rotten judges are. Thank you, Barry, for all you do and keep us informed. Now, just understand, everything I try and do, I try to show you. Not just not me giving you some opinion. I try to do the research and go, did you know about this? Because, we all cheered when all the executive orders were being signed. We watch him every single day as he's signing executive orders. But we don't pay attention to what these executive orders actually give him the powers to do. And that's what's scary. Yeah, Keith Montgomery said, be scared, Democrats. And I missed my colleague. No, I like doing it. I like reading stuff up. They started lawfare. They knew why they had to do it. They couldn't allow him to be that strong. And they didn't realize it because maybe they weren't paying attention. He did it on January 20th first. And if you go on the White House site, there's about, 20, 25 orders that he signed on that day one. Maybe it just got looked over. Maybe some people didn't realize it. But now they're in a position where the second part of this, if he ignores the courts, and he goes full Jacksonian on them, they're done. Absolutely done. Oh yeah, James, that's exactly what it is. FAFO. Trump is so far ahead of them, they can't keep up. Absolutely, Christine. And it's all see, that's the thing too. The only thing that stops him is a crooked judge. So maybe he did want these people to show up and try to do injunctions because it's there. Executive order was filed. He declared an emergency and an invasion. What's an invasion? See, that'll be talked about in the news. What's an invasion? Well, because everyone's looking for guns and airplanes and bombs and submarines, and we're not in that type of invasion. We are not in that type of war. That war will never be fought here. It's never going to happen. It's going to be from within. How many people have to die in this war? When they're doing stuff to kids and to women, and they're doing the things that we see, even the ones that they don't really publicize on television, how many of these people... He was walking around with beheaded people on his cell phone. How many people do we have to have die before you consider, yeah, it's an emergency? You don't think it's an emergency? Go back to that guy's Castina, whatever it's called, knock on a door and say, hey, you guys okay back here? And see what happens. Walk through a MS-13 party. See what happens. These people are on our street. They are not to be coddled. They are not to be messed with. They would not even think twice. They're moving drugs. They're doing all kinds of trafficking. How is it not an invasion? Who's going to define invasion? They are going to try and trick Americans right now to tell you, oh, there's nobody bombing us. How many people warrants an invasion? 10 million? Well, they haven't done anything. How do you know? if Biden and Kamala weren't even trying to find these people, how do you know what they're doing? Remember they said it was like 25,000 people from China who were of military age. Remember many times we would see and watch the people coming across the border and like, how come it's mostly men? Fit looking men. Nobody wanted to talk about that. And so now we saw them kick through the gates and they had to let everybody in, and all the Democrats did was complain. Oh my gosh, they have done nothing wrong. They're just looking for a better life. Well, do it the right way. They don't even want that. Not anymore. Yeah, it's an invasion. That's the only thing that they can say right now is define an invasion. I can't. Because an invasion, if it meant someone was kicking in your front door, it's an invasion. If your daughter met the fate of some of these women, yeah, I want these people out of here. This is an invasion. If you saw a car full of people with silencers on guns that are not supposed to be here, yeah, that's an invasion. The toilet was clogged for a long time. Because they did it on purpose. That was their plan. Yep, many of you guys have seen the movie, and you've heard them talk about the enemy within. Trump was taking them out back then. Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for explaining everything. Yeah, and we've been here for 2 hours. I didn't even get to the part with Elon, so I'll probably have to wait till tomorrow to do that part because. Two things will happen. One, I want to see what Trump says and what happens with his trip to Rome. So I'll probably do it. Yeah, I will be doing a show tomorrow so you guys can tune in. And I'm sure there's going to be all kinds of blowback from this. But I do want you to go ahead and do yourself a favor, because people will challenge you and they will call you an idiot and call you names and everything. And then all you've got to do is just go read this executive order. Like I said, it's too long for me to read it right now. It just goes on and on and on. I can't even imagine all the clauses and every single thing in here that this document has. But this was on day one. Look at them. Look at all this information. Who's involved, what they're going to be doing, how they're going to be doing it. And then I would encourage you to go read this article where somebody on the left saw it and mentioned it. So that's what I would do. Don't let anybody tell you stuff. Go look it up yourself. And if you see something that you have a question about, let's talk about it tomorrow. Let's figure out, hey, listen, we need to address this because this is crazy. And you're going to see a whole bunch of stuff. That's why I can't wait. I've got everything DVR'd right now. So I'm going to have a whole bunch of stuff to talk about tomorrow. I mean, maybe I need to do 2 shows tomorrow. Let me see what. No, I have to do 1 because Robin has me going to a flower show in the morning. Pray for me. I have to go to a flower show. I promised I'd go to the orchid show with her in the morning, so I got to do that. Pray for me. Pray for me. All right, guys. I'll save all this stuff on Elon for tomorrow so you guys can see it. But please go ahead and read this stuff. Read it on your own. Talk amongst your friends. We got 30 minutes of the after party to go here, and so you guys can tell me what you think tomorrow. Tell me if you think this stuff is absolutely crazy, Barry, but it's right there. It's been there. And most of us just didn't pay attention, which is now going to make me go and dig in and pay attention to more of the stuff. I gotta pay more attention right at this point, because wow, he's given us a treasure trove of information of what he wants to do. All these breadcrumbs are being laid right in front of us, and we're looking. The media wants you like this, just like this. One thing I was going to talk about today, I do want to show you this because it's where I'm thinking. And now would be a good time to mention this. I posted this earlier. The news is becoming stale and boring. We're being force-fed pablum. If you don't know what pablum is, you can go look up that junk. Even podcasters are regurgitating the same old crap. Isn't it time to focus on a news that's different? Who wants to explore the stories that matter to your future? You know where the puck is going, and there's a picture of Wayne Gretzky with his famous quote that I talk about a lot. And it's, I skate to where the puck is going to be, not where it has been. And I keep telling you guys that. Skate to where the puck is going to be. Skate to where that puck is. There's stuff I want to tell you about Elon, tomorrow. There's stuff I need to tell you because they're not talking about it anywhere. Everyone's like, oh, Elon's leaving Doge. And I'm like, you are such an idiot. If you believe that Elon's leaving Doge or he's having some sort of issue with President Trump, what he's moving on to has nothing to do with Doge going down. And it's everything that you as an American need to focus on. It's that important because I'm going to show you tomorrow CNN, MSNBC. I did searches on all their sites. Not one record showed up in terms of them talking about this. Not one. And I'm thinking to myself, people are trying to figure out where the puck is going. And just like with Trump, they're telling us. But we're not paying attention. And tomorrow when I go through this, it affects your monetary status. It affects you financially. And I want to talk about the same stuff every day. I got to find something else to put in my 10 spot. I don't want to talk about screaming liberals. They're not going to do anything for me. It's boring now. It's boring because they have the same refrain all the time. Trump sucks, Trump sucks, Trump sucks. Now I think it's time for us to focus on moving forward and look at, okay, we've got this guy for hopefully 4 years. And where do we need to be in 2 years? Where do we need to be in 4 years? What is going to advance your life? I want to know when I talk to Robin. I sit every single morning, my routine, every single morning of my life. I take, after I do all my computer stuff, when she gets up, I take the dogs outside. We go sit by the pool. She has her coffee. And she'll say, okay, what did the receipts look like last night? What are we doing here? What's her time today? What are you planning? Let's go to dinner. So we plan our day. And I always she'll say, she always says this, how are you thinking? And I'm like, I'm bored. And she knows what that means when I say that. When I say I'm bored, that usually means, oh, there's a change coming. There's something big coming, because once I get bored, and I've told you guys many times, if this if this ever becomes not fun, I'm done. And so I'm at a point now, because I'm bored, I'm like, I need to make this fun again. And I need to make it fun for you. And I'll leave all of the daily crap that people are talking about to other people. I want to go where the puck is going to be, which nobody is talking about. And I say that with complete conviction. Nobody. I don't know if they've gotten into a rut where they need to have the dopamine of views and clicks by just talking about the same insane stuff. I don't want to do that. I want to take it further. Yes, I'll cover the news all the time. I'll make sure I have the stories at the beginning, anything that Trump's doing. Of course, I'm still going to go big next week with the rally and everything else. We're going to keep doing that. But I'm not going to mire anymore moving forward into what the Democrats are saying. You know why? Because I don't eat sugar anymore. I don't drink. I don't smoke. And I don't want to suck down what the Democrats are putting out there. Especially after what we've seen today. Especially after seeing, oh my God, you missed that executive order? Yeah. How could you miss it? Your people would have loved to hear it. Oh yeah, I missed it. Yeah. I remember when he wrote it. I didn't know what it means. I didn't look into habeas corpus. I'm like, man, that's the stuff they don't want you to talk about. They don't want any audience out there to be able to just see what's going on. But I realize at this point, I don't have an audience. I have a community. So I have a higher regard for you than to just keep spewing the same pablum. Go look up pablum, see what that is. And so my focus moving forward is going to be stuff that's a little bit higher up the food chain. I'll leave the lower food chain stuff to the clickbaiters and all that stuff because I'm just... My differentiation is going to be bringing you stuff that you can use in the future. Politically, financially, and just any kind of knowledge that I can provide, I want to bring that to you. And I just hope you guys come along for the ride. And I hope to start that Monday, maybe tomorrow a little bit. Yeah, tomorrow when I talk about Elon, we'll segue into that. I think you'll like it. One second. I just want to say thank you to the Fanfare community. And if you're new here, I'd like to take a moment and welcome you. If you watch my videos, you've probably realized at this point that this isn't your usual podcast. The difference is that every single day, I try to make this show an open conversation amongst friends. You see, I believe that speaking to friends, here and in your own circle offline, is the best way to push back against all the lies being told by the Democrats and the media. I encourage people in this community to welcome each other, and in doing so become a source of support for those seeking to unplug from the matrix. If you'd like to communicate on a deeper level, I invite you to subscribe to the channel, but if you'd really like to surround yourself with like-minded patriots, join our free and private X group by going to fanfareshop.org/group. When you join this free group, a few things will happen. One, if you haven't used X before, you can use X without venturing into the sewer that it sometimes can be. Two, you can share content with friends that you meet here. 3, you will get notified every time I go live, so you can't count on YouTube notifications. And 4, and this might be most important, you get content that I can't share on YouTube or Rumble. So please take a moment and join our free and private X group. Just go to fanfareshop.org/group. Remember, it's members only. There are 16,000 plus people in that group right now, getting close to 17,000. To join our free and private members only X group, just go to fanfareshop.org/group. We'll see you there.
Welcome back to Fanfare with Barry Cunningham.
All right, I love this comment. It's like, can you do a dog bloopers in the top 10 videos whenever Midas or Lily interrupts you while you're talking? Yeah, well, he's not even in here. Robin came home from lunch with a friend, and he's like, rah, 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 rah. He starts doing that. Yeah, I agree with you, Barry. Tired of hearing about them crazy Dems. We need to educate MAGA and prepare for what's coming. Yeah, because it's definitely coming. And I realize, as I've been kicking this around for the last few days, and I'm like, they are designed to keep you in a certain place and keep whoever their audience is in a certain place. When I was searching about the stuff I'm going to tell you tomorrow about Elon, I went on their pages and I'm like, this is like doom and gloom central. There's nothing, I'll show it to you tomorrow. There's nothing viable on these pages. It's all doom and gloom. I downloaded a video about the housing market from CNBC. And the title of it was the housing market might be collapsing. And it's not until like 30 seconds into the video where she's like, "Oh, the sales are up." Like, what? What did you just say? So you got to be able to discern this stuff. And I get so many emails, so many direct messages that people want to hear about, different things, the things that improve their lives. And so I see that's what President Trump is trying to do. He's trying to improve Americans' lives. And I really, truly believe that's something that a lot of people aren't getting. So we'll get to that. Stay away from the libs. Now, when I have to make a point like we did today and show you something, maybe a few of that, not a whole bunch, but you can see where they're lying. Straight up lying. I mean, that mayor from Milwaukee, it was facepalm. It was, no, I don't know. Well, what the hell do you know? I don't know nothing. I hate Trump. How's that? Is that enough? I just hate Trump because that's my only reason for being at this press conference. He had nothing else. All right, let's look at some super chats, and you guys and we all can get on to our. I was going to say Saturday night. It's only Friday. Wow. But you know what? Friday might be sushi night. Let's see what the wife says. All right, so let's look at this. Love your show, Barry. Thank you so much for the hoodie. Oh, April, I'm so glad you got yours. Awesome. And we're getting things out. It's like, again, it's my wife, it's myself, and it's Ashley. We don't have a huge staff. So, yeah, we take our time, get them out. It's free, so you're going to get your stuff. But thank you, April. I'm glad you got your stuff. Peter Ortiz, too many people were after Bonnie for not doing her job. I told you to be patient. Bonnie is on fire. What do you think now? Okay. See, it took some stepping back and thinking, these people can't be doing nothing. They can't completely suck. And then you realize as you're doing your research, it's like, oh, they're just not doing what you want them to do. We're not their boss. Big Donnie is her boss. Job for 9. These gangs have been protected by people who are supposed to be protecting us. There's no way they could be doing in our country without the protection. Agreed. George Rivera, first clean up the judiciary, tell SCOTUS to chill, allow the night traffic court judges to expose themselves, and swoop in. Once the purge is over, surprise, then out comes Epstein, Diddy. Exactly. No use. There is absolutely no use arresting any of these people on the list if the judges are just going to let them out anyway. That's something else I had to think about. I'm like, oh yeah, we see what these judges do. Job for 9, the judicial system is compromised. Trump, do your thing. Yes. Cynthia, Barry, I think this is the perfect way to know the enemies within. About time to drain the stinky swamp. Mr. Mike, I think Trump and company are picking off the big fish one by one, starting with your judges. Love your channel, Barry. Thank you. Thank you for coming, Mr. Mike. Silda Morales, thank you. Donna, hello. A judge going to prison is not a good thing. They're never going to see daylight again. See ya. Wouldn't want to be at that point, they're going to have to cut deals. They're going to name names. They may get disappeared by the people they name. Who knows? Mamma mia, how is the effort to hide, transport, or import designated terrorists not treason? See, because treason's so hard to prove, maybe you start with the gangbangers that are back in a casita, and you get them to basically flip up. Peter Ortiz, remember the Looney Tunes cartoons on Sunday? Well, it's on every day, thanks to the left. Yes, indeed. Read the word daily. Good advice. They were the ones that gave Trump 4 years to research all of this and has all this placed on day one. And by the way, go back and look. Go in the White House and look how many things happened on day one. I mean, it's pages. And like, I didn't read all this. Nobody's reading all that. We all watch the signing ceremonies, but we don't know what they are. And now it's like, hey, maybe we should start reading this stuff. Cutting edge, Trump grabbed a hornet and placed a rag on one of its legs to guide them back to the hive. Claudette Bruley, could they still vote by mail? go back to what he did. How do you get the mail-in ballot? You don't have a driver's license. He's stopping Social Security. So he's basically turning off the spigot so that they won't be able to do that. Plus, if they're so terrified of getting, you're not going to want to pop your head up. Robert Andujar, thank you. Pete, thank you. Katina, Obama stripped away American citizens' habeas corpus. Just another knucklehead. Invasion, incursion by a large number of people or things into a place or sphere of activity. That qualifies. Kerry Coates, Barry, best show ever. Oh, thank you. Wow, thank you. Joy Kirkland. Hey, Barry, I guess I missed it, but what's the website where the presidential actions are? All right, so I'm going to tell you the secret website. The secret website. Okay, you ready for it? It's a secret website. I'm going to give you the words for it. All the presidential executive orders, all that is on the White House website. Joy, you just told everybody how I felt. It's all right there. It's on the White House website. Before I close, I'll show it to you. But the secret website with all the stuff, the White House. Barry, did you see the True Social post in support of Shedeur Sanders? No, I'll take a look at that. And John goes, I'd like to see Barry's bloopers. All right, so Joy had a really interesting question. So let's look at this. Let me go ahead and pull it down so it's its own page. Hold on. Let me do it this way. All right. So I want you to be able to see the URL right there. You can see it yourself at the very top. At the very top, it's whitehouse.gov. It's the secret website, whitehouse.gov. You click here. If you're on the main page, the main page is the front page, and it's just whitehouse.gov. And then if you go down here, it's got sites on Trump, JD, Melania, and then let me see how far down you have to go. All right, so where do you get it? How did I get there? Oh, wait a minute. Is it at the top? Yeah, there you go. So you click, I'm sorry, let me move that over. You click on the side, there's a little menu, and right there, first one, news. So if you go to the news section of the White House website, it's got articles, briefing statements, presidential actions, and then you got executive orders, and then they're all right there. All of them right there. Here, let me show you something you guys will get a kick out of. If you go to the last page, number 5, wait, it's not giving me all of them. Wait a minute. Hold on, I got to go to all. All right, if I go to all, and if you go that way, now you see all the pages, 23 pages of stuff. All right, so now you're at 20. This is day 1. This is everything he did day 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then you go back a page. Let's go to page 2. So we're at 7 right now. Now we're going to go back to count from the bottom. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 so far. Let's go to page 21. And we're still got a whole nother page. 18, 19. See this one? See that one? Declaring a national emergency at the southern border of the United States. That goes hand in hand with the invasion one. So 18, 19, 20, 21. That's a good one about protecting the territorial integrity of the United States. 22, 23, 24, 25. That's 25. And we're still at day 1. Look, we're still at January 20th. So 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35. I think you get the point here. Day 1, look, another, okay, 31, okay, where are we? 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40 executive orders on day 1. I'm not going to embarrass anybody, but how many have you read? How many of the executive orders, never mind all of them, how many have you read about the day 1? Well, maybe that's some time you need to spend when you're not doing anything. You can open up the computer and say, you know what? I'm going to go check out these executive orders from day one because I completely missed them. And nobody in the media is talking about it. Nope. It's crazy. They just completely ignored it. Let's see here. Barry, look for the White House now. Yeah, it's so a lot of research for people to do. A lot of research. Are you up to it? Because that's the question you have to say. You can be force-fed. I think I have a pablum definition. Oh yeah, let me show you pablum. I say pablum a lot because people don't know what pablum is, but it's it's something that you may want to go look up. And here's pablum. Great word. I love the word pablum. Hold on, let me get this straight on its own here. And here's pablum. Pablum was a bland processed cereal for infants. Originally marketed, product was developed at the Sick Nutrition in Toronto to combat infant malnutrition. And it became a different thing as people began using it in regards to news. Just stuff you stick in a baby's mouth just because they need the nutrition. Pablum. So, yeah, begin educating yourself because I think things are getting ready to get crazy. I think they're really about to get crazy. All right. Thanks. Tomorrow we'll be talking about Elon and what he's actually doing. I'm sorry I couldn't get it today. Don't want you guys to be here all night. We'll talk a little bit about Letitia and what she's going to be facing because Letitia James, I'm pretty sure you're in trouble, girl. So, all right, everybody. Talk to you guys tomorrow. So let's go here.
you.